happy to get to that bit further. But I'd like to put this.
Wait, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
So what you're saying is that the British could be motivated to do this on their own, even though usually we see them as a lapdog of the United States policy, and that Russia could actually respond by saying, if you did this, Alexei Navalny, as odious as he was still one of our own, and we will respond. That would be unthinkable from the narrative that we know. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to point out the latest news.
Okay.
It is highly likely, I'm obliged to use Theresa May's famous highly likely, which is what she used persistently in finding the Russians guilty of everything imaginable. It is highly likely that the Russians have already responded. You will note in today's news that the Houthis have sunk a British naval vessel in the Red Sea. I will wager that they did that with Russian arms. In the last 2 days, on the highly respected and widely followed talk show, An Evening with Vladimir Solovyov, the host himself said, you know, to the West, you are pursuing proxy wars against us. Beware, we are also capable of pursuing proxy wars against you. And you note the sinking of a Qatari oil transport in the Red Sea a couple of days ago. As some of you have mentioned, we don't know who supplied them with the arms. We don't know. So I would wager that the Russians have already done something they've talked about a long time, to sink British Navy vessels without any chance of being made to pay a price.
Wow, okay. One of the things the Russians have said was, why did the West come out within hours of Navalny's death and say, oh, we absolutely know who did it and how they did it. Now they're bringing out the sort of old playbook of Novichok. It's almost trite to use Novichok. What you pointed out is it's the British who have Novichok. The United States do too, but the Russians haven't made it since, I think, the 80s or 90s, correct?
That's correct. It's very good that you mentioned the Skripal case, because that was one of 2 or 3 points that I will call circumstantial evidence that I say links the Brits to what happened to Mr. Navalny. It was what happened, his death was not just any day of the week or any month of the year. It was very well timed for several important anniversaries and for what was going on in the midst of news of Navalny's death. That what was going on in the midst of the death was the Munich Security Conference, where the great and the mighty of the collective West were assembled for the purpose of condemning Russia's war and for shaking down the U.S. Congress for further financial and military aid to Ukraine. So that was one